Welcome to Badami, the first capital town of the early Chalukyas. Set among sandstone bluffs in the valley of the Malaprabha river, the city was founded by the king Pulakeshin in 544 BC. From the 6th to the 8th century, the early Chalukyas experimented with various forms of temple construction, from cave temples to structural temples in a rudimentary form. Temple construction started first at Aihole, progressed onto Badami, and achieved its most finished form at Pattadakal. The trio of towns, containing over 150 temples, is collectively known as the cradle of Indian temple architecture. Badami, today, is the most developed town among these three towns. The town itself is very small, in mostly a dilapidated condition. There is limited social infrastructure, a couple of hotels which could be regarded as 2-star. Other than the hotel, restaurants, a few restaurants serving local cuisine are available. The town is a 2 to 3 hour drive from Belgaum and slightly longer from Hubli, the two towns with airport connectivity from Mumbai and Bengaluru. Indian Railways runs overnight trains from Bengaluru which are quite convenient. The heritage site is divided into 3 distinct areas: the South Fort, the North Fort, and the main town on the banks of the Agastya tank. Carved into the South Fort of the town, Badami is most known for the 4 cave temples accessed by a steep stairway. Cave number 1, the first cave in the complex, has an imposing 18-armed statue of Shiva sculpture performing the cosmic dance on the right side of the entrance. At the ends of the veranda are representations of 2 Shaiva icons, Harihara on the left and Ardhanarishvara on the right. Cave number 2 is a Vaishnavite sanctuary, similar in layout to cave number 1. On either side of its veranda, it has Vishnu sculptures in the form of the Varaha on one side and Vamana in Trivikram form on the other. The cave also has elaborated decorated ceiling panels. On the way to the next cave, one can get an excellent view of the North Fort, the Agastya tank, and the town of Badami. A few steps ahead is a large courtyard forming the entrance of cave number 3, the largest and most intricately carved cave in the complex. The cave contains many elaborate sculptures on various walls and intricate carvings on its pillars. Ceiling panels, elaborately sculpted brackets, and a magnificent sculpture of Garuda, Vishnu's mount, represent among the most magnificent early Chalukyan art. Climbing up to the top is the last and smallest Jaina cave. On the left end of its veranda is the Jain saint Bahubali. On the right is the Jain saint Parshavnath, with a multi-hooded cobra rising over his head. The sanctuary has a Jain sculpture on a lion throne. Several Jain Tirthankaras are carved into niches on the walls of the temple. Pause a while to witness the view from the courtyard at the entrance of this cave, the highest point open to tourists in South Fort. A short walk from the cave complex towards the town leads to the Yellama temple perched at the edge of the Agastya tank. The temple has all the elements of a typical temple, with a mandapa, sanctuary, with decorated walls, and a tower with all its architectural elements. On the opposite end of the tank is the spectacularly located Bhutnath group of temples. Just behind the temples are a set of rock carvings of small shrines. The next stop is Badami's Archaeological Museum, set at the bottom of the North Fort. From here begins a steep climb up the North Fort complex of Badami. After navigating a steep winding stairway on a plateau in the fort are 2 open mandapas and a spectacular view of the South Fort and the Agastya tank. The North Fort offers some excellent views while climbing up the stairway. A short walk away is the Lower Shivalaya. The Lower Shivalaya appears to have been dismantled as only the sanctuary stands with its tower on top of it. The temple, as in typical Dravidian architecture, is provided with an octagon-shaped domed roof. Have a look at the cannon adjacent to the temple and the views from this area. One last climb to the top of the North Fort and you will be provided with a spectacular view of Badami town and the South Fort. The Upper Shivalaya temple, given its rudimentary construction, must have been one of the first structural temples constructed in the area. Decorative friezes run around the temple and the basement of the mandapa, and porch are provided with carvings of elephants and lions. Sculptures are provided in the central projections on the walls of the sanctuary, framed by pilasters and decorated eaves and parapets. The last monument, perched high on another peak of the North Fort, is the Maligitti Shivalaya. This is the most finished and evolved temple in the Badami group of monuments. The mandapa walls are embellished with central projections framed by pilasters housing intricate sculptures. This completes the video tour of Badami. If you liked this tour and found it useful, visit us at extolindia.com. If you are visiting, download our audio guide app, Extol India, available on Google Play and the iStore. Until then, happy experiencing with Extol India.